quit calling my waitlist after learning these 3 things. And if you're a childcare owner who's frustrated with the lack of response you're getting from your waitlist, you might want to do the same. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jaren and I'm here to help put your enrollments on autopilot. So the first thing I learned is about a phenomenon called waitlist decay. This means that the longer someone waits on your waitlist, the less interested they. Essentially what it looks like for us in reality is as we were calling our waitlist in order of the date that they joined the waitlist, we weren't getting responses. Parents weren't picking up the phone. If they did pick up the phone, it was just to tell us they had either moved or they were happy at another place because, of course, in the time they had to wait for a spot at our daycare, they found care somewhere else. This was completely opposite to the enthusiasm we were seeing from parents who had just joined our waitlist. We received calls from parents every day who had just joined our waitlist on our website. They could see, hey, I'm number 50. They were calling to ask, could I pay more to go ahead and get in the door? They were super excited about joining. And before we knew about this phenomenon, we just thought the fair thing to do was to call an order of our wait list. Kind of like when you go to a restaurant and they're packed, and so you add your name to the list. And it's a fair expectation that they're going to call your name in order of when you join the list for the restaurant. And this works for restaurants because the wait is predictable. Usually they can tell you about 30 minutes to 2 hours. And you can typically wait about that long to eat, depending on how good the food is there. But it doesn't really work for us as childcare owners because our wait time can be completely unpredictable. Most of the time, you can't really tell parents, in 2 weeks, I can guarantee you a spot, maybe on rare occasion. But a lot of time, our wait is unpredictable. And if it is predictable, it's long. It can be 3 months to a year before we are forecasting a spot in a certain classroom. And at that point, parents likely have to find another option that's not your center. So I've had personal experience on both ends of this. I've been the one calling for my parents' childcare center, their wait list, getting ignored. And I also am a parent of 2 boys, a baby girl on the way. When I was seeking out a preschool for my 3-year-old, I first started with asking around in my mom friend group, hey, do you have any recommendations? And one of our neighbors had a son around the same age as my oldest who went to a childcare center down the street, about 10 minutes away, and they loved their experience there. So I naturally wanted to go there. When I called, they had a wait list and I joined it, but didn't really know how long the wait would be. So we kept searching around, found a center about 10 minutes in the other direction, toured it, loved it, enrolled. And pretty much my son fell in love with the teacher and the kids. We had a really great parent experience there. So about a month into our experience at the daycare that we enrolled in, we got a text from the other childcare center that they had an opening, and I completely ignored it. I was not interested anymore. And so it's interesting that due to this phenomenon, we're probably missing out on the easiest enrollments, which are those who just joined your wait list, versus trying to play it fair and nice to the ones who have been on your wait list forever. The second thing I learned was that people who pay attention. So this was the mistake that we made. We did not charge any money for parents to join our wait list. So naturally, as we called them, due to the wait list decay, we were being ignored. So it's kind of like if you are in a relationship and you plan a date and you prepay for the dinner reservation, you prepay to go see like a live production, like a concert. It doesn't matter how you're feeling that day, unless it's super serious and you're bedridden, but most of the time you're going to keep that commitment because you already paid for it. Versus like a date where it's like, hey babe, you just want to go out this Friday night and get a bite to eat. If Friday night comes and you're both feeling like, no, we're going to stay in, we're going to order, it's easier to kind of change your mind and choose a different option when you haven't put any skin in the game. So that was something that we realized, like we're calling our wait list in order. The people at the top of the wait list aren't interested anymore. They have no skin in the game because they did not pay a deposit. I have talked to other owners that when they actually charge like a deposit, usually like their enrollment fee or an enrollment fee plus the first week of tuition, those parents are saying, I'm really serious that when this spot opens up, I want the spot. That's a much better way to do it. And that is the time I would say it's appropriate to call your wait list in the order that they join, as if they actually paid you money to be on the wait list. And the third reason I stopped calling our wait list is I realized that our ideal customers are working families. So most of the time it's kind of hard, like when you're in the middle of the work, to step away and take a call. Especially from a number that you might not have saved in your phone. Like I usually ignore a number unless they leave me a voicemail because of all the spam these days. So after calls, we were kind of looking at the next best communication methods, email and text. And what we found was that text messages have a much higher open rate than emails. So therefore they have a much higher chance of being seen by parents on your wait list. The studies have found that texts have a 98% open rate versus emails about 20 to 30%. This means that out of all the texts you would send to your parents, probably about 98% of them will actually open it and read it, versus if you emailed your wait list, best case scenario, about 30% of the parents would actually open it and see what you're saying about your wait list. So what we found is that due to, like, we had a really long wait list, but people hadn't paid to be on it, we learned that texting them all at the same time was the best way to get our waitlist communication in front of the parent who was most interested in taking the spot. This made it fair for the parents who have been on the waitlist for a while and maybe had to find childcare somewhere else, but they weren't really happy and they were actually still interested in enrolling with us when they had the opportunity. And also for the parents who just joined the waitlist, they're the most ready to make the move to our center and pretty much capture the attention of the person who actually still wants the spot. So just learning these things saved us hours of time and frustration with our waitlist. I mean, we pretty much almost gave up on the waitlist because it just felt like a waste of time. So if you're actually looking for a waitlist software that applies these lessons and allows you to text everyone on your waitlist at the same time, my husband and I built a software just to do that, and it's called Simplest. You can check it out at the link in the description, www.mysimplest.com, to start your 14-day free trial today. See you in the next one.